Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Annie. It's been a minute, but we're back and ready to go. I'm your host. My name is Avery Wyatt. I'm a former student at the University of Nevada, Reno. I just graduated with degrees in political science and public health. And yeah, like I said, I'm your host for this evening, and thank everybody for coming out and checking out Annie. We hopefully, for all our new watchers out there, you check out all of our past videos too. We've highlighted over a dozen colleges and also a lot of cool people. So check out our episodes, tune in, share it with any Native youth that you think may be interested. And so for next week, we're going to be hosting some transfer students. We're going to talk about their experiences being a Native transfer student and what that's like going to college. And also the following week after that, we're going to be hosting a transfer student workshop. So if you're having trouble with transfer credits or anything like that, feel free to come to our workshop and we'll talk about it. And for this week's episode, we have an awesome episode ahead of you. We have some cool students that are going to be coming on from Southern Utah University. But before we get to that, I'll let my co-host introduce herself. Dina, would you like to introduce yourself real quick?
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another evening of Amplified Nevada Native Youth. And thank you, Avery, for scheduling this awesome broadcast tonight with our special student guests. So, Ferdina Jai Romero with the Nevada Department of Education, Southern Paiute, and thank you and have a great day. We'll see you soon after the introductions of the students.
Cool. Now, yeah, like Dina said, we'll get to the introductions of our students. And so for our first student, we have Chantelle Israel, and then we have Mahala Sutherland and Jeremy Garcia, standing soldier. So we'll start off with Chantelle. Introduce yourself a little bit and tell us a little bit about yourself for those who don't know you.
Hayata Shay, Chantelle Israel Yanishia, Adon and Nishlinigi, A, Bitahni Nishla, Adon. Yeah, not of the net, but she's cheat. Yeah, it didn't add catchy need that she che. Auto as Lana A dashinella. I could ego A stanishla. Auto typing this guy didn't nasha and an A can Canada Kehate. So, hello everybody. My name is Chantelle Israel. I'm the current Miss Native American SUU here, and I am also a biology major. I am a junior. So it's my third year here at Southern Utah University.
All right, Mahala, tell us a little bit about yourself and yeah.
Hey, Yata Shakedo Shadana Shea Mahala Sutherland Shea Aranana Senegi Kisachin Initially Petini Abashichin Nato Dene Dashichin Nano Hupa Dashanala Akotego Tsananishla Tabinis Kai Danisha. So, hello, my name is Mahala Sutherland. I'm the current president of the Native American Student Association at SU. I'm also a CDR beacon, so a mentor at the Center of Diversity and Inclusion at SU. I'm a double major in sociology and psychology, and I think that's it.
Yeah, that was perfect. All right, Jeremy, you're up. Tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us a little bit about what you're doing at school.
Hello, my name is Jeremy Garcia, standing soldier. I'm from the Southern Paiute Indian Tribe of Utah, an enrolled member. I attend SUU as a graphic design major, and I also have been working on a language preservation project for my tribe. I just like SUU, and I came to SUU to venture on to my language learning and my art skills. And yeah, I don't know what else to say.
No, that was perfect. Yeah, and first off, thank you all for coming out. I know it's it's almost finals for y'all. I didn't even know that. So thank you for taking the time out of your day to be with us tonight. And yeah, we're excited to hear what you all have to say. We hope all of our audience takes something from this tonight. And yeah, so we'll just hop into the discussion from there. But starting off with our first question for everybody, what is it like to be Native at SUU? And so we'll start with Chantelle, then go to Mahala, then Jeremy.
I don't know about everyone else, but for me, I can say that I've enjoyed a very friendly atmosphere here. And whenever I strike up a conversation with anyone, usually they're very cautious about how they want to ask things, or they're very aware of like how they, very very aware of like everything that's gone on in the past, and so they're very cautious when they're talking with me, and it never fails whenever I'm walking around my traditional attire, and as Miss Native American SCU, when I'm going to like a NASA event, which is our club name, the Native American Student Association. Whenever I'm going to one of our events, I always get stopped, and someone's always like, I love your dress, I love your tradition, I love your attire. And so it always brings a smile to my face. And so that's just what it's been like for me here. And I don't know, there's a lot of good while being here. But then again, you also hear stories about how, you get like the other people on the other side of the spectrum, who have that perspective of like, oh, they should be thankful that we arrived here in North America. Like, we brought them running water, we brought them electricity and stuff like that. You hear so many stories about that. And so while there are so many good people in here, there are also racist people here as well. So it's pretty okay. It's nice being a Native here at SEU.
How about you, Mahala?
Okay. Like Chantal said, there's the good and the bad. I've personally experienced a lot of different things here at SCU. Some of those things include like having my big earrings being pulled, or having people pet me, like pet my hair and stuff. Like, it's some of those, but through those different experiences, I've learned how to be outspoken on campus, and it's led a lot of doors being open to me and a lot of opportunities. For example, not only am I the president of the club, but I'm also a mentor to incoming freshman students. So I do work with some Native American students who are coming off of like the Navajo reservation or from different tribes, and I get to work with them and help them in their academic success. I've also have been privileged to be a part of hiring the chief diversity officer at SU, and I've also been able to advocate for Native American students on campus through getting stuff like land acknowledgements at SU, statues, hanging of our tribal flags, and all kinds of other stuff. So it's been a pretty good experience, but people are very understanding. A lot more people are becoming open-minded, and the campus is progressive. So yeah.
Do I go now?
Yeah, you're good, Jeremy.
All right. Yeah. So the atmosphere at SCU is pretty positive among being Native American and the American students, I believe. And there's not a big presence of Native students on campus, but those of us who are there and are representing Native people is very positive. And I feel like for me, I haven't experienced anything too negative or anything, just people just being surprised that, oh, wow, I'm Native American, or, oh, wow, I thought you were like, Mexican or something. But other than that, I stick out quite a lot because I have long hair. And I mean, as traditional of Native people, Native men, they have long hair. And so when they see I have long hair, they're kind of jealous. Mostly they want my long hair. And there's a pretty good diversity in the SUU campus. There's a lot of people from all over, and I think it's pretty positive there. And that's all I have to say.
So what led you to choose SUU for your school, for your post-secondary education?
And we'll start off with Chantel.
Yeah. So for me, I went to high school over in Monument Valley, and that's kind of like the borderline between Arizona and Utah. And so I went to school in a place where I was able to take as many opportunities as I could to get college experience, and they always pushed us to take as many like summer programs as we could to get like college credit and stuff. So there was this one program, there was this one club that I was a part of that I joined. It's called Upward Bound, and it's a program that specifically chooses students who are first generation college students, and then they are also low income. So I fit both of those criteria. So my mom didn't go to college or anything like that. My dad, he made it to vocational school, but so me and my sister were, I guess, technically the first generation people. And so because of Upward Bound, I was able to take college classes for like 3 consecutive years during the summertime. And through that, I built up like 27 college credits here with SEU. And so throughout that time, I got familiar with the campus and I got familiar with some of the professors here. I took beginning to German and stuff like that. And I just like really enjoyed the atmosphere and the professors, the way that they interacted with me, the way that they joked around. It was very like one-on-one. And so, so that was the main reason I chose SCU for school. But second of all, I think I also chose SCU because I had a cousin here, and so I have a lot of family out towards this way. And so I was able to get on board with my cousin in her house, and she was gracious enough to let me stay there. Like, I didn't have to pay rent. She fed me really well. And so I think for those reasons, that's I chose SU.
Cool. And so, Mahala, why did you choose SUU?
So I chose SU, one, because the tuition is pretty cheap compared to a lot of other schools I was looking into, like in Arizona. Two, I have a lot of family that live in Cedar City. And then 3, I heard about the Native American Student Association through my family members. And then the 4th reason, both of my parents attended SU.
So you're continuing the tradition, I see. SUU.
Yeah.
All right, Jeremy, you're up. Why did you choose SUU as your choice for college? I think you're on mute too.
Oh no. Does it work?
Hello? Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So I decided to go to SCU because I'm local here. I'm Southern Paiute, and my tribe, they get a scholarship to go to school there, and they have a connection with the school. So there's that positive there to attending the school. And since I'm local, it's easy for me to just get up and go to school and then come back home, and all of that. And being a representative of my tribe locally here at SCU is pretty important, I believe. There's not too many Southern Paiute Indians who attend school at SCU, but those of us who do is I think it's pretty important. And other than that, I wanted to learn art, and I wanted to find people to learn, help me do my language project that I started. So those are the reasons I attended SU to do my language and do art. So that's everything.
And just to add on to that, I totally agree with what Mahala said. There was, I just called and I asked, like, is there anything that there's like that you do special for like Native Americans? Because of course you have like Fort Lewis College over in Colorado, and they do free tuition because they started out as a high school for Native American students. And so I was like, I'll just ask the question, why not? And so they were like, yeah, if you're Native American, even if you're in Arizona or something like that, like you still get in-state tuition. And so that's one of the major reasons. And then on top of that, they offered me a scholarship as well, which covered majority of the tuition, and it was for like the remainder of like my bachelor degree. So it was for over 4 years, and so that played into it as well.
Chantal, I'm really glad that you brought up the Upward Bound and your work within that, and telling students about that. Do they have TRIO there as well?
Yeah, so they have TRIO here, and they have and if anything, like they're really welcoming over there in their office. I haven't interacted them as much as I did like in my freshman and like sophomore year, but I really did stay connected with my mentors and stuff like that throughout the process, and they were like very encouraging. They were like, well, here you can take this scholarship, you can apply for this one as well, and they were just very helpful along the way.
Wow, those are really great responses. I like the fact that Mahala is looking at tuition and also reaching out to the school to say, hey, what do you have to offer? And going back to the first question, even like working with the chief diversity office and being able to be a part of that, conversation, that's huge. So great. So as Native students often feel isolated. You kind of talked a little bit about your connections with your family being there. Is there a certain place or spot you feel connected to on the campus?
For me, since majority of the classes I take, they're in the science building. So for me, I just really like the atmosphere of being in there. So the first time I went there, I was like, wow, I was in like absolute awe. I was like, oh my gosh, they have a 2 layers, and I was like, oh, this is a great place to study, and I just fell in love with the place. But I think I just very much enjoy. Sometimes if I'm not comfortable like being inside the library, or if I just want to be outside for the day, I'll just go onto the grass anywhere on the campus, on the quads and stuff, and I'll just like enjoy my surroundings, take my time studying, and just enjoy where I'm at. But I think during the first few weeks or during my first semester, there was definitely a time where I felt like isolated and I was really missing my family because throughout that semester or throughout that summer before, I had spent like so much time, just hanging out with my grandma, my mom, my dad back at home. I had like a schedule and I was like helping out with chores and everything like that. And so just to be taken away from that and then being put into school settings, I think I was just, it was really unfamiliar. And then so through, I guess besides the science building, I would have to say the club room for NASA is another spot where I feel really connected to campus, just because you can make whatever Native joke, you can say nay, a. You're going to be judged slightly, but not as much as anywhere else. So that's it from me.
And did you say the club has its own space on campus?
Yeah, we do. So like Mahala said, she works underneath the Center of Diversity and Inclusion. So there's a certain room, and it's just like right in the middle of the main building of SU campus, and so it's just right across the nest, which is where incoming freshmen can go for all their questions and stuff like that. And so we're just right across from there, which is like really convenient. And in the Center for Diversity and Inclusion, we have so many different clubs and associations. So you have like the Pride and Equality, the Asian Americans, and everything like that. So we're just in there with them.
Yeah, that's cool. That kind of reminds me. So where I went to, we had a diversity center, but to have a space would be something I would dream of. So that sounds really cool. And how about you, Jeremy? What is a certain spot on campus where you really feel connected with Native students, or just your favorite place to go?
I would say just the library. The library is just a positive place to be. I do a lot of research on my tribal information, like tribal history and tribal language and stuff in the library, and work on things in there. And also the Center for Diversity, the NASA room, the Native American Student Association room, is a really good place to be able to put my backpack down and go off to class and just to hang out in there in between classes. It's a pretty positive space for the Center for Diversity. And yeah, most likely just campus is pretty positive all the way around. I mean, I could sit down and set up my art or my computer work or my whatever I'm working on and just enjoy. in the day and do whatever, do my work. So yeah.
That's pretty cool. You know, I used to go there for the restoration powwows and the softball tournaments and um, Walmart, of course. But I've never stepped foot on SUU's campus. Wait, did they used to have the tournaments there? I think basketball tournaments.
Maybe, I think so.
I don't know.
For the Southern Paiute tribe of Utah. Yeah, been a long time. They've changed a lot of things over the years.
Yeah, that's so cool that you're able to feel so connected and welcomed on your campus, because it's often, it could be 50-50 depending on where you're going as a Native student, whether you feel connected only in certain spots or wherever. And that kind of leads into challenges that we face while in school. And so we'll start off with Chantelle again, but what was your biggest challenge that you've had so far and how did you overcome it?
I think for me, my biggest challenge was time management and overcommitting myself to doing different tasks. So I think I was pretty comfortable at first. Like when I first started out in my first semester, I was okay. I was comfortable with like being the only native, like native kid. Of course, there was other people of color in my classrooms, but like I think it was just definitely like new to me because in my high school, I was like 99% of the time it was just Navajo kids. And so moving over from that to like majority of the student population being white or like other people, like, it was definitely new. But I think because in high school I was active in so many clubs and organizations, I kind of exposed myself to different people. And so I was kind of okay with moving from native kids all the way to like whatever kind of people's in the classroom. So I think definitely for me, it was time management, just trying to settle like how much should I study, how much should I allocate to like to NASA, how much should I do for that? Because like NASA, they do so many events, especially during like Native American Heritage Month or Native American Heritage Week, because you do one event like per day and stuff. And so that one event can like be broken down into so many tasks. So that, yeah. And I don't think I've completely overcome that. But yeah. So
Yeah, I think it honestly takes us until probably past adulthood, and who knows, maybe not even then, to actually learn how to say no and how to manage our time and all our stuff at the same time. And Mahala too. I think Mahala's having internet troubles right now, so we'll try and get her back on. But since that, we'll just jump right to Jeremy with the question. Jeremy, what was your biggest challenge and how did you overcome it?
So I live pretty close to school and I've grown up here all my life and my family's here. So I have a lot of support like that for challenges. When I first started going to school, I had a family incident where I had to take care of family needs and then go to school. So like, and then the next semester I had the same thing happen again, where I had to take care of family and go to school also. But because the school is pretty positive with understanding people's situations, they were able to help out and be positive and help me keep going to school and that. But I don't really know of any other challenges besides just staying focused on schoolwork and just like that time management and all that, and being positive in what we're doing as students, working to accomplish our dreams and get there and make it. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. I haven't really experienced too many challenges yet. I still have a long ways to go in schooling. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
definitely. And I think something that helps me like overcome, I guess it's not really a challenge, but it's part of like the like hardships you just face as a student in general. I'm just I'm a junior going on to like senior year, and I never really had much trouble with motivation, to go to school and stuff like that. But I think now, since I have a job on top of the title as like Miss Native, sometimes you can, after just like a full 7-8 hour shift, I feel kind of tired, and it's kind of difficult to like, because I get off at 8 o'clock, and then I have to somehow cram in a whole bunch of assignments until like 11:59 p.m. And so as soon as like I get off work, I just go and get dinner, and then I have to hurry up and like, okay, get into like that studying mindset. And I think like one thing that helps me like overcome like that exhaustion and stuff like that is just like keeping in mind like where you come from, why you're going to school. And like for me, I have a mom who like loves me, and she I know she goes out every morning and she like goes and prays to the sun for me with her corn pollen and stuff like that. And so for every day I wake up, I just keep that in mind, and I'm like, Chantal, you better get up. Your mom prayed for you today, so you better hurry up and get your get tasks done today and make them proud of you. So that, yeah.
Wow, that's powerful. I mean, and we're a lot of our students who are listening tonight are in high school, so carrying those prayers with you and to college in a completely different atmosphere, it's really important. So thank you for sharing that. It's really powerful.
Mm-hmm. No, I can't even imagine. I'm just having flashbacks when you talk about having to cram in that work right before 11:59. I remember those days and those nights where I was turning assignments in at 11:59, and sometimes at that 1 minute after where I would miss it. So yeah, being a student is tough, especially when you have to work and to sort of balance everything. And on to sort of, I know we've talked a little bit about SUU and the environment so far, but for those who are unfamiliar with SUU, the campus, and the surrounding area, what's the city like where SUU is located?
I definitely love it. One thing I forgot to mention for the first question is like it mentions that there's like about 16 or 16 above 16 plus national parks around Cedar City. So it's just kind of like a major hotspot. So for like if you want to go to California, it's only 7 hours away. If you want to go to different national park, and for me that's really big, just because my major is biology, and I really want to I want to use that for like environmental conservation. And so that major just really fit with my desires and what I want to do with it. And so being able to go to like different national park every other weekend or whenever I have time, that really played into it. And it's just really nice to get out sometimes out into the outdoors. Especially if you're ever here in Cedar City, like during the fall time and you drive, I highly recommend that you drive through the mountains. I was taking intro to photography class one semester, and she was like, if you guys want really good like nature photos, just go up to the mountains and then like look to your left and to your right, and you're going to see so many beautiful colors just from the changing trees. And coming from Monument Valley, I'd never seen that before. I just saw some yucca bushes and, and dead black brush. So it was really nice. And I think especially during the winter time, I think Cedar City is called Festival City for a reason. There's always something going on every weekend, and you just get exposed to so many different things. So I really like it here.
Yeah,
Ooh, yeah,
Cedar.
really.
Yeah, so SUU's like right there in the middle of town, kind of, and students are able to just walk right over to a store, maybe a block or a block and a half away. Almost in every direction, you could just walk, to a gas station right there, or there's a coffee house, Main Street, where a lot of students go, the Grind Coffee House, and other little places to go to eat. You could just walk right over. And SU is just right there in town. It's a small little happy town with a lot to offer for all the students. And there's even little clothing areas where people can go shopping and buy stuff right there on Main Street. So it's a pretty cool place to be at, even if you're living in the dorms. You're right there in town. The housing for the Southern Utah University, there's a lot of positive places to live there right in town. So that's a pretty good one. You could just ride a bike or a scooter or walk around, and you'll be wherever right there in town, being able to buy stuff, enjoying your day, going to school, if you have time for studying.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one thing that plays into like going down Main Street and stuff is that we have a very like really, really good like farmers market. So I work at IFA, so Intermountain Farmers of America. And every Saturday we always get like the farmers market. And so you get like fresh honey, fresh like pastries and stuff like that. People like local vendors and stuff like that who just come out and share their creations and what they made. And one thing that plays into the farmers market is that like Cedar City is kind of expanding, not as fast as St. George or anything like that, but it still gives off like small town feels vibes. But majority of the people here are farmers. So like me, Monument Valley, I came from like a family who does crops and agriculture, riding horses every weekend, that kind of thing. So I can like connect with people from like the agriculture club or anything like that, and I can go out and like ride somebody's horses if I'm really missing my horse or anything like that. So you just get a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it sounds like, because I've never been to, you said it was in Cedar City, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've never been out there, but I'll have to check it out because I love little small active towns. That's kind of how it is where we're from too. They always had something going like all summer, every weekend. There's always something to go to. So, and that kind of, I was just thinking in my head while you were talking with both of you, what is the best place to eat out there in Cedar City? I guess like for natives, we all love the same food sort of. So what would be like the native spot out there that all the natives go to?
As a student, if you're studying real late, I would say you could just go to that little small Mexican joint, Rita's, or that's a good spot. Or Denny's, Denny's is always good.
Always good, yeah.
Those are the all the way around, 24/7 places.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like coming from the middle of nowhere into like a little, I thought this was a big town or like big city when I first came here. So I took my chances and I've tried to explore every town or every restaurant and stuff here, every coffee house. So I'm really big on coffee. Right now, a personal favorite is Bristlecone. I really like their food and stuff like that. Their coffee is just strong enough, with just a tad of sweetness, just like the way I like it. All those many nights of drinking from that blue coffee pot. And as for food, I don't know. It just really depends on what you're looking for. Like, I can't really say. I think I would like to say Silver Silo. Their coffee is really good too.
Your response to Denny's made me laugh because when I was in college a long, long time ago, we would be in like a Denny type of restaurant in Lawrence, Kansas, and we would just stay there all night long and drink coffee. And one time I came back to my dorm and I was like, oh my gosh, like I had too much coffee.
Oh no.
Yeah, I have an aunt, the cousin I was living with, her mom. She went to SEU too when she was like in her 50s too as well. Like, so she was always like, yeah, I used to get together with my friend and we'd go over to Denny's like at midnight because it's the only place that's open. And we'd like order something. We'd be just like studying there all night.
Well, we could talk about food and places all night long, but what advice do you have for future Indigenous college students?
Do you want to go, Chantal?
Yeah, I can go. For me, I would just have to say like whatever you choose, whether that be like university, college, vocational school, or just like jumping right into it. You know, there's really no difference, I guess. I think if you are choosing to go to like a community college or a university, there's no wrong choice, just because it is what you make of it, because there's golden opportunities everywhere. It's just I'm a strong believer in like the work that you put in, you know, that's how much you're gonna get out. And I think if you are gonna go that route with like a university or a college, I think starting out with a community college, just getting those like um uh the basic ones. I forget those general courses. You can just get those general courses out of the way, and it's going to be so much more like cost efficient. It's not going to be as expensive like versus going to a university straight out of high school. And if you do go to a college or like university, I think freshman and sophomore year, definitely those are the years to go study abroad, because those are the ones where like if you're going to go into a different country, different university in a different area, you know, like it's going to be the easiest to get those out of the way.
And real quick, have you studied abroad?
No, I haven't. But I really wanted to. I really wanted to go. We have here at SEU, we have one where you can go to London and you get to go to like all the Harry Potter studios and stuff like that. Or you can hop on over to New Zealand and you can go visit like the shooting sites for Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. And you can go visit like the New Zealanders. Like we have an English professor, his name's Toatawa, and you go visit his village out there. You go visit all those beautiful places. I had an anthropology professor who tried to rope me in to go to Africa, Zimbabwe, and go volunteer out there, see some rhinos, go to their national parks out there, their reserves. And so I'm really interested in it. But this semester, since I'm a junior and I've got all of my generals out of the way, it's a little bit more tough. So
well, I'm going to totally live vicariously through you. So make sure you get to those places, Chantelle. Okay?
Yeah, for sure.
And how about you, Jeremy? What was some advice that you have for future Indigenous college students?
That's a really good question. So before I even attend the university, I used to work at an after-school program with my tribe. It was just helping with homework for young kids and that. And I would always encourage them by saying, you could always go and find a job any day. You could go out there and get a job or whatever. But what's really important is education, stepping up and going and getting an education that's better than any job. I've had many jobs and it just goes in a circle and you're just like clock in, clock out, earn a check and circle. But once you go to university, get a really cool education and get a really cool job, that's where things are a lot better than just having a regular job. So I believe that education is really powerful, and whatever the dream is that the student has, I say just get out of your shell, try at least 1 semester, 2 semesters, and just go for it and talk to everybody you can who might have information about what you want to be studying or doing in life. One reason I went to Southern Utah University is because I was working on a language project for my tribe, the Southern Paiute Indian Tribe of Utah, the Cedar Band of Paiutes, where I was working on creating a website and a talking dictionary, and I was doing recordings with my elders, and I needed to find people to help me do those things. So I decided to go to the school and search for those people. And I was lucky enough to find a couple professors, and then I find a few friends that could help me with those things. And then my my second semester, I ended up going into a class that was for teaching foreign languages, and it was like a 3,000 class, very very above my air spot in school. But I went there and I went and learned what I needed to learn and to apply it to what I was wanting to do in my life venture with the language project. So that's what I wanted to do and go to school for. And so I'm pretty sure there's a lot of students out there who have things they want to do and get done, and they don't know how to do it yet, or they don't know where to go or who to ask. And I just say, just sign up for school. Maybe go, if you're afraid of go poke your head around the university or college and go talk to somebody and see what they have to offer, and be proactive in your dream and what you want to do. Because I mean, any day of the week you could go out and get a job and go make money, but getting a really cool education and doing what you really love is where it's really at. And that's where we Native people need to be doing what we need to love to help our tribes and help our people. That's what I think.
Very good response, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Jonathan mentioned your project.
Yeah. Yeah. Ampahad project. That's the code name we gave it. It just means the talking project, the Southern Paiute language talking project. And so at SUU, when I attended, I made friends with Jonathan, and then we started studying history of the Paiute language and history of my culture, of my people. And there's an archive there at SUU that holds a lot of information on language. And so we would study in there and go look around at the old papers and see what's there and apply it to what we're doing. And we would hold little study gatherings all the time before the pandemic and work on those things. And then I got in touch with a few professors who knew about language. There's not a whole lot of language options at SUU. I think there's French and Chinese and German, and then they have a lot of international students that come to speak English. So there's that help, and so that's where I started working on things even more. And I made friends, and I made a friend with another upperclassman who is a computer guy that makes the websites. And so he started helping out to help make a talking dictionary with some of the work I was doing. So we just combined everything together, and each one of those people are pretty helpful in helping that dream come true of being able to get a native language onto the website out of old books, and to be able to preserve audio recordings that we've done with our elders. So it's still a long ongoing project and lots to be done, but that's something that I've been doing for quite a while, even before I came to school. So yeah.
Well, IEC, that's very good.
Yeah, IEC, and the school's helped a lot.
And kind of to play off what Jeremy said a while ago about education, I think that can play into like educating yourself on your traditional beliefs and like your tribe and your culture, because that definitely does make you stronger, and it helps you like stand out when you're just in the classroom in general, or whatever you're trying to apply yourself to, because I think whatever you do, you can always make it unique to your to yourself, I guess. So I think that's definitely, I've always heard like, internships, they're always looking for like Native American people, especially out here in Cedar. I've always heard that so many times from my uncles and my aunts and stuff like that. So, yeah, definitely you can still educate yourself and climb that ladder, but still add on to what you know about your culture just now.
Yeah.
Very important to have that balance between the two.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And thinking more about SUU too, what is the thing you're most thankful about SUU or your educational experience that you've had so far?
I think one thing I'm thankful for from my experience is that it's definitely made me more open-minded, and I think I've learned a lot about like my skills as like how I am as a person. Just putting my effort into different projects and stuff like that. How much I am capable of, and so I think that's one thing I really enjoy.
And how about you, Jeremy?
I'm pretty thankful that SCU is pretty open school and that they have a connection with my tribe in many ways, and I'm pretty thankful that there's opportunity to go to the school there with whatever funding it is that connects. The experience has been pretty positive so far, and I've enjoyed it. Um, and it's growing. The school's growing. Things are always changing at the school. New programs and new teachers, new professors, and the buildings are changing always, which is pretty cool. My experience has been pretty positive, and I'm pretty thankful to be able to study my tribal history there and be able to do art there and do the other things that I really like doing also, and that I didn't have to go off too far away to go to school, which is it's kind of hard to do as Native people to go off far away from our families to go to school. But for me, I'm pretty thankful that everything's just kind of right here in a little bubble for me. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's really good to hear that you're comfortable in the area you're in. And thanks, Chantel, too, for just telling us about what you're thankful for. And it's really interesting to hear because every student we bring on has something different, it feels like. And you all have honestly inspired me just about with your advice that you gave and just your stories and how, because every university, every college that we bring in is different. So that results in different experiences and different stories from students. So it's really interesting to hear how how SUU is. And so now we'll move on. We have a question from our Facebook comments. And so this question is from Sandra. If anybody else out there has questions, feel free to list them in the comments. And so Sandra's question is, if you could go back and give it, oh wait, I'll start from the beginning actually. She says, so my 10-year-old daughter is listening in on this session. If you could go back and give your 10-year-old self advice on what you can do now to prepare for college, what would you say? And that's a tough one. That's one you don't really hear much. So I'll give you some time.
I don't know. I would say just study, just read a lot and study and prepare for tests and be prepared for those challenges to come ahead, because we always have to take those tests to get into school or to pass the knowledge that we've learned at school. I would say just always be on it, be ready with that education to be answer those questions on your tests. Yeah, it's I don't know what else I would tell myself. They just be positive, keep going to school. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Chantal?
For me, I think I was in my prime when I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
When I was 10 years old, I think I was doing pretty well. I don't know. I would think the only thing I would have told her is like, be more confident in who you are, believe that you can. I was a part of the volleyball team, so practice harder. I don't know. No, because I don't think there's really that much I would do differently. In the Navajo culture, wherever you bury like your umbilical cord, when you're born. It just kind of, that's how you grow up to be. And so my mom did something different for me. She put my umbilical cord in a book. And so growing up, I always loved reading books. On the road trips, I was always like, Mom, can you give me this book for the ride home? Because, Monument Valley was like an hour, 2 hours away from Flagstaff, Farmington, Cortez. So I would be like reading books, and everybody, both of my siblings would be asleep, and they're like, is Chantelle asleep? Chantelle, are you awake? Yeah, I'm awake. I'm just reading my book. um, and I grew up in a very traditional setting as well. So I knew a lot of, I was attending a lot of ceremonies, and we were always like out there on the horses, going after rounding up the cattle, going or herding the sheep. My dad always says like, I wish my daughter could come back home from college and herd the sheep for me. And I'm like, no, Dad. I had enough of that when I was 10 years old. So
and now I'm drinking coffee. Fancy coffee.
My dad, he doesn't have any boys. It's just girls. So we grew up just like guys. I know how to swing a hammer. I know how to put together a house, a hogan. We were building dams out there. But I think one thing I would say to my 10-year-old self is, listen to my mom and dad, especially when they're talking Navajo, because one thing I wish I was more fluent in is Navajo. My parents always say you have no excuse for not being able to speak it fluently. Both my mom and my dad, that's all they talk at home, and I can understand them, but I can't. It's just different when I'm speaking it back to them. So I think that's one thing I would tell my 10-year-old self, I guess. And I guess that does help in preparing for college because there's different opportunities where you can, educate others, or like make events more meaningful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great question, Sandra. I never would have even thought about that question or thought that you would ask that question. So thank you. And then our next question is from Jonathan Hatch. So Jonathan asks, do either of you have a favorite national park near SUU?
I would say, well, there's Zion's and Bryce Canyon, and they're both really good. I like maybe Bryce Canyon because it's like very rocky and a lot of good hiking areas, and it's just like a really cool canyon with like all these stones. So I really like that. Bryce Canyon is where I would go if I had some time.
I definitely, that was part of my top 3 choices too.
Yeah.
I think one park I'm really looking forward to go to. Hold on. One park I'm really looking forward to seeing is the Great Basin National Park. It's like 2 hours away from here. I just see pictures of it, and it looks so pretty. I think that would be my number 2, but I think closest to SU, I would definitely say Zion National Park, just because I do have family here in Cedar, so we would always travel through Zion National Park, as a little treat, going out and making that drive. So definitely like going through Zion National Park and just stopping on the side of the road, or getting stopped on the road because there's some mountain sheep crossing the road, the highway. And just to add on to that, one thing I think, one to-do list trail I really want to do is in Zion National Park, and that's Angel's Landing. I attempted to go with Molly or Mahala one time for our photography project, but we got sidetracked and we went left instead of right to Angel's Landing. So we didn't get to go to Angel's Landing that day, but we went to an equally as beautiful spot in Zion.
Yeah, I think Zion's my favorite.
I got to get out there. I've never been out there to any national parks, I guess, in the South. ish area. So I had to get out there. And
Yeah,
one more. No, you're good,
okay.
Dina. What were you gonna say?
No, go ahead.
Okay. And one more question we have really quick before we wrap it up. So this one is from Sandra, and Sandra asks if you could change something about the degree programs or college pathway in general, what would that be? And that's another thinking question. So basically, if you could change anything about your degree program or how college programs sort of go, what would that one thing be?
Oh, yeah. Well, as a graphic design major, there are a few classes that I have to take every semester, just to stay informed on some information, I believe. Some of times it's really tedious because it's a lot of sit and listen to people talk about their art. And I'm like, oh, I don't really want to hear about that one. I want to hear about a little bit more about, what I'm interested in. And it's every semester you have to go and listen to people talk, and I guess you have to at least just listen to 10 or 9 people talk. And sometimes it gets too much for my schedule, and I would kind of like bring it down a little bit, or make it a little bit more like integrating and building what I want to be doing in the future. So that's one thing that kind of makes me a little bit like, oh, I don't want to do that, because of it's just a repetitive kind of class, and you have to do it every semester. So that's one thing. And other than that, I really like the art program. It's kind of new at SU, so it's going good. How about you, Chantal?
For me, I don't know if there's anything I would like to change, just because I think it's pretty structured out the way they have it here. They have a semester in the park, and so for people who want to do it, they can go ahead and work in any of the national park services, I believe, and you just have to apply or like do register in there, but it's only like during certain semesters. So I really want to try that out. And then I think for my degree program, there's different avenues that are open to you. So I remember like in my general biology classes, I got really close to my general bio professor, and his name was Professor Wells. And he was really excited about like having me in his class because I would share like different things about the plants, or like how we view this or how we view that, or something especially about the Utah juniper trees, because in Navajo culture we have like so many uses for the berries that are on there, or for the leaves that are on the branches and things like that. So I would put that input in there, and so he would and plus I had really pretty notes. So he 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 was like, hey, if you want good notes, go see Chantelle. um, but so because of that, he noticed me, and so many of the professors, they offer or they reach out to you, and they try to recruit you to like go and do research projects underneath them, and you just take register for like a class where you meet up with them once a week, and you go over, you do research on the thesis or whatever you're working on. And so I've had like multiple professors like chemistry and biology like reach out to me and say like, would you like to do this? And I think there's another thing we have here at SCU. It's called the Festival of Excellence, and you can like whatever project you're working on, you can share it with them. And I think Jeremy has like shared his project, the talking project there as well, like over multiple years for multiple school semesters as well. And I think SCU has the college honor program, so you can register early for semesters during that way, or you can also go like fast track, so you can graduate in 3 years instead of 4 years as well. So I don't think there's really anything I can think. They kind of like figured out everything.
Cool. Well, yeah, thank you all for coming on, especially answering. Those are probably level 2 questions right there compared to the not so hard ones that we got. So you all did great on those questions. And so first off, I just want to thank you all for coming out tonight, and shout out to Mahala too. I know you were having internet troubles, but if you're out there, thank you too. But yeah, thank you, Chantelle. Thank you, Jeremy, for coming out, and good luck on your finals. I know you're all both. Everyone's gonna do good.
Thank
And
you.
I hope, yeah, and I hope the rest of your college journey goes well too. And I hope you all have an amazing future. And so, thank you all.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
8 o'clock, so
Yeah.
get to the books.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining on tonight. We had an amazing episode with our students from SUU. Don't forget to tune in next week as we start our little 2-week transfer session episodes. So tune in then. And also on May 6th, we're having a Don't Be Broke workshop. So that'll be with the Nevada Money Mentors. So tune in then. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.